evening, viewers, and welcome to another episode of A Pillar of the Community. And today, we we are happy to have on our program two executive board directors of the Caribbean Canadian Association of the Waterloo region. And today's program we have Lannois, Carroll-Woolery. Did I get the last name right, Lannois?
Yep. Some people say Lannois, some people say Lannois. If you're used to the French, I answer to both.
Okay, good. And as well as we have another director who just happens to be his wife, is Anandi Carroll-Woolery. So I would like to welcome both of you to the program today and say thank you very much for joining me. So we're hoping to learn a little bit about the Caribbean Canadian Association of the Waterloo region and some of the programs that you guys are involved in. I know you guys are quite active down there, and I'm actually quite excited about a couple of those programs to hear, what you guys are doing down in the Waterloo region. So with that, let's start with you, Lannois, and maybe you can start by telling us a little bit about the history, since you're the president, a little bit of history of how the Caribbean Canadian Association of the Waterloo region started.
Sure, yeah. Happy to give some background. So many people might not know this, but there have been Caribbean immigrants to this area of the country, which is Waterloo region, since 50s or the 60s. And so in the 1970s, multiculturalism was the buzzword, right? The Prime Minister of Canada was the first Trudeau, and he made multiculturalism part of the cornerstone of his vision for the country. And so everybody was excited about multiculturalism. Here in the region of Waterloo, the Kitchener-Waterloo Multicultural Center was founded in 1967. And we had Caribbean students here at the University of Waterloo. Well, under the auspices of all the multicultural programs that the federal government was setting up or was promoting, there was a summer program started for Caribbean students here in Waterloo region at the University of Waterloo. And that summer program for Caribbean students, which was funded by a grant from the government, was so successful that they decided to form a permanent association the year after that. And so the year after that, 1975, the CCAWR, the Caribbean Canadian Association of Waterloo region, was formed. The original name was a little bit shorter, but the CCAWR is what we're known as right now. And so we've been a part of this community since 1975, contributing to the cultural vibrancy of this region in a number of different ways and providing a little bit of a home away from home for the Caribbean students or the Caribbean expats who happen to settle in this area.
Wow. And for people who might be viewing this from the Caribbean, Waterloo is maybe a good, I would say, hour and a half west of Toronto. It's
we're a little closer to the heading down towards the States for your viewers who might be international. But this metropolitan area is the 10th largest metropolitan area in Canada. So if you combine Kitchener, Waterloo, and Cambridge, we're bigger than all other cities and metropolitan areas in the entire country, with the exception of the big cities like Toronto, Vancouver, and Montreal. So we are on the map. We're on the map. We're about an hour and 15 minutes.
You're on the map for quite a bit. I mean, there's also the University of Waterloo, which is known for its robotics program and its engineering program.
Yes.
As well as Wilfrid Laurier, another university out there. But I think one of your biggest feather in your cap in Waterloo was when BlackBerry had their headquarters down there.
Yes. Yeah, it was an exciting time to be here. No, I should let your listeners know, you may not know this, but this is an entrepreneurship hub across all of Canada. So this is the center from which I believe 1 in every 4 companies that start in Canada come out of this city, come out of this region. Wow. So this region is known as Silicon Valley North because of the number of startups and new companies that come out of this area. BlackBerry is just one of dozens of companies. Probably perhaps one of the best known, but definitely not the only company that came out of this region.
Right, right. Yeah. Well, it's certainly one of the best known because I know the BlackBerry out of Waterloo. So tell me something. The CCAWR, is it only open to Caribbean people from the Caribbean for membership, or you open to anyone?
No, not at all. Not at all. We welcome any and everyone. Basically, when people ask if they can join, I simply tell them, look at our mission statement, look at our vision. If
Right.
you are in agreement with the mission and vision, if you can support that, you can be a part of this organization.
Right, right, right. So now I want to get into a little bit of the some of your other programs, but I want to put this question to Anandi, bring her into the conversation. So, Anandi, I want to
Hi.
bring you into the conversation about one of your programs, which is Persons of Distinction Award. It's one of your programs that you guys have. Tell us a little bit about that program.
Oh, yes. Thank you so much. So in 2000 and well, prior to 2015, one of our board meetings, we're always coming up with new ideas. How can we show appreciation for those of us in those that have showed leadership and support for our communities? So a lot of planning went into it, and 2015 was for the persons of distinction, where this is where we recognize individuals from Waterloo region who have distinguished themselves to the wider community, and they've made outstanding contributions to the Caribbean Canadian community. And we look at people from all walks of life, whether you're working, whether you're retired, if you have a body of work, we will consider it. And there are a couple of categories as well. We recognize different people. So, for instance, we look at someone who is part of our own community that has made a very large contribution, and as well, we look at as well for someone who may not be of Caribbean descent, but they have made a major contribution to our community, and they've helped us out in great ways.
Yes, I saw on your website. You had quite a diverse range of people who awarded this award of distinction, and
Yes.
yes.
Mhm.
So, what is the criteria to get this? Like, basically, you look at you have a committee that basically goes out and they accept nominations. Yeah, how does it work?
Exactly. Yes,
Yeah.
you're correct. Yes, so that we would open up the nomination process, and for the person has to be nominated, and the nomination has to be accompanied by X amount of recommendations as well. And just really, the one person who is doing the nomination does have to champion and demonstrate why this person has met the criteria. I was also on the website earlier because of pandemic. Of course, we weren't able to have one, our most recent incarnation of it, and I was just smiling looking at all these wonderful people who we've been able to recognize. And actually,
Well,
some of them are missing. I'm like, I feel like two people are missing. Mrs. Bell from the Caribbean Kitchen.
right, right,
She was actually one of our first recipients. This lady will cook for any and all things, and so many times conflict. She makes sure that we're fed, and her love and her encouragement, and she gives employment as well. And
right,
then the person who was the non-Caribbean person is Reverend Peter Kuhnert, who
right,
was actually is a Lutheran pastor, and at the time he was the pastor of a church with a really strong Guyanese Caribbean congregation, and he understood, like as I say on TikTok, he understood the assignment, right? Which was empowering and educating. And so the Black History Months that Maranatha Lutheran Church would put on, those events they'd have in Black History Month, it was the message was just on point, and it was always followed by a very memorable brunch catered by Mrs. Bell and her people as well, and entertainment, and always a keynote speaker. What
right.
wonderful events! So
Wow.
that's just a small example of the sort of people that we honor and we want to show our appreciation for.
Oh, good, good, good. So that's one program that it's good for the community. There's another program, and Linus, maybe you can shed some information, some light onto this particular program, the scholarship program and the Awards of Excellence program that you guys have. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, the scholarship program has been in existence for, I believe, 19 years, and over that time, I think we've given out about $70,000 in scholarships to university and college students. So we run the program in partnership with the Congress of Black Women Waterloo region. And so every year we invite applications from high school students, students who are moving on to college or university, or university students who are already enrolled, of course, in programs around the country. And there are a few criteria that people have to meet at least for the Caribbean Association awards and scholarships. And if you meet those criteria, being of Caribbean heritage, going to university or college, a couple more which are on our website, then we invite your application. And as you apply, you're ranked or compared against some of the other applicants. And then we award scholarships based on, obviously, academic excellence, community engagement, leadership, and a few other criteria. And last year, we awarded 10 scholarships, a total of $18,000. And of course, our partner, the Congress of Black Women, also awarded scholarships as well. So the process starts in about January or February, when we start to think about the year ahead, do a little bit of fundraising, a big fundraising event in June. We send information out to the guidance counselors at the high schools. We put the notice for the awards up on our website and social media platforms. And then we receive applications in by June 30th. And then we have a really outstanding scholarship committee led by our Vice President, Nigel Henriquez. We look at the scholarships last year, look at the applications. Last year, we had about 23 applications come in. We vet them, and then we decide on who the awardees will be. And again, we worry about our scholarships, but we also know that the Congress of Black Women will also give their scholarships as well. And then once we have selected those winners, and like I said, last year, I think total, we had about 14 or 15 scholarship awardees between the two organizations, over $20,000 given out. We have what we call the Awards of Excellence, which is like a can't miss event, September, like the 3rd September of every year. Tickets are hot. If you don't get your ticket right away, sorry. So it's been sold out. I think the last 2 years that we had it was sold out. We haven't had it recently because of COVID, obviously, but it's sold out. We invite all the VIPs from our region, the MPPs, the MPs, the mayors to come. We have a guest speaker. And, a lot of people are excited about the scholarships themselves, meaning the monetary awards.
Yeah.
And I understand why. Me personally, I get excited about putting all these bright people in one room together, because then they see each other. Right. And you may not be going to the same school as somebody might be going to the University of Guelph, Waterloo, UBC, U of Toronto, but for that day, you're all from Waterloo region. You're seeing, what they say, iron sharpens iron. And we're celebrating our youth. We're celebrating their brilliance. We're celebrating their achievement. They're there. They get their picture taken, pictures in the paper. And to me, that's as valuable as the scholarship, because the youth get to see that we're watching you. We see you. We're invested in your success, and we're here to celebrate you. And so it's just an excellent program, like I said, run by our Vice President, Nigel Henriquez, and it's going strong. This will be the 20th year.
Yeah, right. And Anandi, I know you at one point you were the treasurer, right? So you were accounting for all these funds.
Yes. Good times. Yeah.
Right. So the way the program works is you guys do fundraising. Of course, you raise the funds and then you give it out. So you said the CCARW gave out 10 scholarships last year. 10.
Yes.
Right. It was
it was a record.
Wow.
Record 10 and record $18,000. And it was really amazing, because we actually thought the opposite would happen because of COVID. We weren't able to have the fundraising. We weren't able to have our events, but the community still came together and, gave us the support that we needed to make sure that the work could go forward.
Right. But that's really, really good, and it's certainly something to assist some of these students out there. You have the government programs that are in place to help, but of course every other little bit that helps with the other expenses, because it doesn't cover things like books and whether you're staying on campus, those kind of things, so living expenses. So that's good. That's fantastic. So there's another program that you viewers out there, you guys should poke your ears up and listen to this one, because this is a fantastic program. It's a program called Lift Off, a Black Entrepreneurship Program. And it's a program for Black entrepreneurs out there. And I don't know, Lannois and Anandi, which one of you want to start telling us about this
Oh,
program?
Lannois, I'll let the president, because it's so big, I'll let the president go.
All right.
Okay. Well, the many of your viewers should know about the Black Entrepreneurship Program. So the Black Entrepreneurship Program is national news, or was national news, and it was a partnership and is a partnership between the government of Canada, Black-led organizations, and financial institutions. So in the wake of all the Black Lives Matter protests and the need to drive equity, diversity, and inclusion at the very highest levels, the government of Canada made available $265 million over 4 years to Black-led organizations to have them build out, have them grow Black businesses here in Canada, all across the country, right? So that was the big news, the national news. And that program, that Black Entrepreneurship Program, had 3 components. One of them was a loan fund, so monies that were to be loaned specifically to Black businesses. A second one was a research fund, a Black Entrepreneurship Knowledge Hub. And the third one was a National Ecosystem Fund. And that's the one I'm going to focus on today. So the National Ecosystem Fund was a program designed to provide training and mentorship to Black entrepreneurs to help them start and grow their business. So there was a call for concepts, and you had to be a Black-led organization. So, most of your board or leaders or executive had to be Black. Had to have a certain amount of capabilities or talent, I guess, in your organization, if I can use that word. Anyway, the CCAWR was one of those Black-led organizations that submitted a proposal under the National Ecosystem Fund, and we submitted it in, I believe, December 2020. And we went through a number of phases or stages. And then last year in August, we signed an agreement with the federal government of Canada for a total grant over 4 years of $3 million. And we're using that $3 million to train and mentor and provide services to Black entrepreneurs in this region. And by this region, I mean the region of Waterloo and Wellington County, which is Guelph. So that funding is being used to hire trainers, mentors, any services, anything that an entrepreneur might need to help them overcome some of the barriers that Black entrepreneurs face when they're starting and they're growing their business. We put out, once we were awarded the grant, and the champagne was popped, and we signed all the agreements. We then put out a call for applications. So we wanted to hear from Black business owners or people who may not have a business but were thinking of starting a business. And so we wanted to hear from them. We put out that call. We received about 46 applications. We took 12 of them that we thought were the strongest, and we started working with that first cohort. And that cohort was begun in this year, just January, the first week in January. And we had a kickoff event, and we got introduced to each of those entrepreneurs, what their business idea was, what they're looking to do over the next few months and few years. And then we also introduced some of the mentors that will be training them. So a new cohort will be taken on every 4 months. So every 4 months, we're going to have a new cohort coming in every 3 to 4 months. And then by the time the program is over in 4 years' time, at least 120 Black entrepreneurs should be passing through our program, receiving training, receiving mentorship, receiving guidance, all the support that they need. And I'm not the one leading the program. I'm not an entrepreneur myself, but the executive director of the program, Dr. Trevor Charles, has done a fabulous job in getting things going. Our partners have been amazing. Conestoga College, the Laurier Women's Center, UW Velocity, Communitech, and some of our other local partners have really come beside us to come alongside us and to help us grow Black businesses. And if we do this right, it will not just make a difference over the next 3-4 years. It will make a difference over the next 30-40 years as we build out those businesses in the Black community here in Southwestern Ontario.
Wow, that is really good. So the way the program is is that you guys are facilitating the program. So you have the leading. So let's say a business come to you and they want training, or they want, in whatever aspect it is. Do you arrange the training, or they have to identify the training, and then you guys basically just fund it?
Yes. So one of our major partner is Conestoga College, and they have an entrepreneurship program that they run as part of their college training program. And for those of your viewers who might not know, Conestoga College is one of the highest, if not the highest rated college in Ontario. And so we're leveraging their entrepreneurship training program, but we add a little bit of Caribbean flavor, Caribbean color, right? Add the Black perspective to it. So they are providing the program, they lay it out. So if a business comes to us, we accept them as a founder in our program, then we have Conestoga College and our employees walk them through that training program for 4 months. We identify any gaps that they may have in their business plan, in their strategies, in their planning. We provide guidance around legal issues, HR, IT, financing, all of that in one roof, or under one roof, I should say. And then at the end of that 4-month training program, they should have gotten all the tools that they need to successfully launch or grow their business. And that doesn't mean that at the end of the 4 months that we say, okay, we're done, you go off on your own. No, we are still engaging with them. They can still come back and engage with the program topics and the mentors of the program. If they hit a roadblock, if they hit a stumbling block, they can still come. We're thinking of this is a long-term plan. A long-term plan to grow these businesses. So we will try to connect them with funders or investors as they might need it. They might need that service. So any service and training that they might need for the business, we're there to provide it.
Wow, good. And Andy, and your thoughts on this program in terms of how it's helping, and you're on the finance side, right?
Oh no, I hands off. I'm a federal employee, so because it's federally funded, I did have to step away from it, and
okay.
I was really happy to to some extent, I could add, any sort of historical experience I had with the finances, I could share with the committee. I was happy to serve as part of that committee, and be part of the team, and to see it come to life was really, really exciting. And for now, the excitement remains with seeing who is part of the program, the diversity of the businesses of our first cohort. I'm a little biased because 2 of my friends were, I was spreading the word. I was telling everybody I met, apply. So some of my friends didn't get through, but 2 of my friends got through, and I'm really pleased for that. And I'm looking forward to seeing their business grow. Go from strength to strength.
Yeah, it's a good thing you're saying you're hands off. When you said your friends got through, it might be some connections being pulled there.
I didn't pick anybody. It was really just making part of the team of making the application, understanding sort of what as a treasurer, you have to understand what's your legal liabilities. So we've never handled $3 million before.
Right.
And if let's say we think we're spending the money appropriately, and for some reason, Federal Development Canada says, no, actually, that doesn't qualify. Does that now, what's the liability for the association? So I had to think about all the sort of, I'll use the word unsexy things, as the accounting things that are not so cool, but they're really, really important, because we want to make sure that we're doing it properly. We do our due diligence. And I think our team did that. And that's why we see the benefits of that today.
Yeah, exactly. And I guess, with your processes and procedures and the way you're operating, the government would not have approved to give you $3 million over 4 years if they didn't see that you were capable of handling it, right? So congratulations on that.
Yeah, I want to add that we just have an excellent board, 14 persons on the board right now. Very strong board, capable in a number of different areas. Anandi has the accounting background. We have people with expertise in legal issues, in marketing, leadership, IT. And so we're building, of course, on the foundation that the founding members of the CCAWR laid way back in the 1970s, right? So they laid a very strong foundation for us, and we're building on that foundation and the skills and expertise of the persons on the board and the way in which we run our programs and the way that we have been successful with the scholarship program, the persons of distinction, and other initiatives, I'm sure was a positive when our proposal was evaluated by the Federal Economic Development Agency for Southern Ontario. So yes, it really is. I'm really proud of the board and really excited to be working with this bunch of people, and everybody had a big role to play. And we have and last year, for the first time, we have employees. Right? For the first time, the CCAWR is an employer, right? So. And so we have to provide that excellent working environment for our, I believe, 5 or 6 employees right now, and make sure that they are doing their best and can do their best to make this program the best it can be, so that when 120 plus business entrepreneurs pass through, it's a positive experience for them. And you can imagine how the dominoes, how this would snowball, right? Use a Canadian analogy. How would this snowball to bring about prosperity, not just for the Black community, not just for the Caribbean community, but for this entire region, Southwestern Ontario.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And as you said, not just in the next 4 years, but next 25, 30 years, to come. So that's great. That's fantastic. So good. So you viewers out there, get in touch with them.
Yes, and how to do that. I was going to say, now remember, Liftoff is actually a separate sort of entity from CCAWR. I guess it's a separate project for the next couple of years.
Yeah, separate
for
program.
sure, a minimum 3 years. And hopefully once it's done, we will have funding to continue it as long as we can. Right. So in terms of getting in touch with us, there's our regular way is www.ccawr.ca, and there's a contact us. But if you are particularly interested in Liftoff, the direct way to get there is the website is Liftoff by CCAWR. Just one word, Liftoff by CCAWR.ca. I think we bought all the domains. Isn't it like .com and .ca? Either one will work. And go there, go to contact us, and you tell them what you want, and they will find a good fit for you. We have an excellent team working there.
You heard it right here on the Pillar of the Community, people. So take advantage of it. So, Anandi, I want to continue on a little bit with some of the other programs that you guys have. And 2 of them that I want to ask and talk to you about is, one, the yard sale that you guys had, and the reason I pulled out the yard sale is because it reminded me so much of what is similar. We did the exact same thing when I was living in the Cayman Islands. We did the exact same thing to raise fund. We had the community come together, bring stuff, donate stuff, and then we had a big yard sale, and to raise funds. So tell me a little bit about that, and then also tell me about this book club. I know you guys have a book club as well.
Okay, so I'll start with the yard sale, sort of our one and only yard sale. So you're doing it to raise funds, but honestly, you're doing it to bring the community together, right? Because people are going to come and make it their donations, and then afterwards, people are going to come and buy as well, and it's just a great time to interact with people and joke around, and plenty kicks, right? And miss it so badly. But I believe this was 2017. We had our first yard sale. Would love to do it again at some point. And really what was our first goal was we were needing some operating funds for the organization. The scholarship fund, because it's money that's postmarked for something very specific, the scholarship, it's not so difficult to be able to get donations for that. But sometimes people forget about the operating funds. We still have to pay for postage. We have banking fees, insurance. We have to still buy liability insurance. So, we had to sort of top up the bank account for the operating funds. I've always had the treasurer's mindset, right?
Right.
And so look at when they decided to do this thing in April. Tell me this thing. Anyway, we figured we just had to do it because we had been I think we wanted to do it the year before. It never came off. And then the president at the time was Louis Allen. And he says, we are doing this thing. So yeah, April, we did this thing, and it was so well supported. Lots of donations. One of our members, he was actually downsizing into a much smaller condo. And I feel like he brought half the house with him. And he had such a good, he and his wife just beautiful, just wonderful taste. So we had some really upscale items in this
Wow,
yard sale.
that's
I
good.
got a bread maker for $10. I got I got a yoga pants for $5. I cleaned up. I did pretty well.
You know, you
And
know,
it's fun,
you're
yeah.
reminding me that again, when we were in Cayman, the guy was having a garage, well, a yard sale. But here's what his ad read. I remember this ad distinctly. He says, "Wife went crazy, yard sale."
Well, my only damage was $15.
Yeah,
So, right?
right,
I
right,
didn't do
right.
too I didn't do too bad.
That's
Yeah.
good. That's good.
So we would love to have it again.
Yeah.
And
How much
we're
money?
always looking for other fundraising ideas too.
Yeah, how much money on average did you guys raise? I mean, in April
Oh,
when it's still cold.
not, you know what? Not a whole lot. I seem to remember it maybe being in the $200 range.
That
It
sounds
wasn't a
about
whole
right.
lot. Two
$200-300.
or
Yeah.
300. But you know what? It's just the experience of it. We had it at one of the members' house. Her name is Emily Yamoa. And Emily has been with the association longer than any of us. Well, and the other one is the other long-standing board member is Loretta. But Emily has been there for donkey years. And she anything you want, she will open up her home to you. And so it was her garage that we had it out of. And she was just okay. And was she cooking plantain and thing for us too, Lannois? I feel like she was bringing food and all kind of thing for us, and yes, I
Oh,
don't know if you count her food that she cooked for. I don't know if we actually made any money, but it was wonderful connection,
yeah, it
being
was
with
a
your
good, a
people.
good event, just the fun. And it was the same thing for us. It was just more of a fun event. We didn't raise too much money, but it was a fun event where everybody got together, and it was just another community thing to do. All of course we're trying to raise money. Um, so we're fastly running out of time here, but
Okay.
tell me something. February is Black History Month. What are your plans for Black History Month?
Yeah, I'm a member of the committee that's planning and putting on an event next weekend, February 4th, 5th, and 6th. We have what we're calling Black History Month 2022 launch. And the launch is a key word there because we're not trying to cover all the areas in Black History Month, but we're trying to make everybody in the region and all our audience online, all across Southwestern Ontario, we're trying to make them aware of the event and to pull them in and to make them also aware of all the other events that are happening in the region, all around this area throughout the month of February and, of course, into March. So years ago, the Caribbean Association used to put on musicals for Black History Month, and those were well attended. And then when recently the board decided that we weren't going to move in that direction again in terms of putting on musicals. They're quite challenging to put on, and I tip my hat to anyone who's ever been a part of those musicals. But what we decided to do was partner with the other Black organizations that are in this area. So African associations, other Caribbean associations, and say to them, why don't we come together for one big launch event at the end of January or the start of February every year? Let everybody know who we are, what's going on, share all the information about your organizations, tell them what you'll be doing during the month of February, bring in performers, singers, dancers, and so on, bring greetings from government officials and other VIPs. And everybody said, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. So this is our third year of putting it on. It's spread over, of course, because of COVID, we had to move online. So we're going to have keynote speakers, Dr. Michael Houghton of Wilfrid Laurier University, Dr. Laura May Lindo, MPP, Kitchener Center for the MDP, and a number of other notable persons will be providing content online. It's going to be online on, we start Friday night with a radio show, DJ Cool. And then on Saturday and Sunday, we're going to have artistic performances, interviews, lectures, if you will, seminars, all of that will be there. And we're trying to have something in there for everyone. So we're going to have readings from children's storybooks or something for the young children. We're going to have questions and tough issues like what's going on in the school boards, what's going on with our children. We're going to talk to two officials from the Waterloo Regional District School Board, the Waterloo Catholic School Board, saying what's going on in terms of equity, diversity, inclusion, and anti-racism activities. We're going to be talking about the Liftoff program, so everybody knows to put their hat in the ring, our scholarship program. And we're going to tackle a number of challenging issues as well that we want to celebrate. We want to celebrate, but we also want to make sure that this is content that people can say, I learned something, I got something out of this. I want to get connected with your organization. I want to stay in touch. I like what you're doing. Sign me up. And the theme for the event is Black History, Black Heritage, Black Achievement. So we're starting back from Black History. We're going to have some Black History there, but we're going to talk about what we have as a people and as a community that we can celebrate. And then we're going to also, that's the Black Heritage. And we're going to also talk about Black Achievement, right? We're going to talk about all the wonderful things that are happening, all the exciting things that are happening. We're going to celebrate the amazing people that we have in the community and launch Black History Month in an exciting way.
Right. That is good. Now, you've had Black History Month events prior. Now with COVID, how is that going to be? Because you're talking about story time and inviting all these people.
Yeah.
But how is this I know things are opening back up, at least the
Right.
mayor is saying about things opening back up. But how is that in terms of taking into account in terms of your programs?
Yeah, we follow, of course, all the guidelines of the health authorities, and we don't want anyone in our community or in the wider community getting sick, right? So we've gone 100% online. We've partnered with an audiovisual company to do a broadcast on YouTube. So we're going to have YouTube live broadcast and a Facebook live broadcast. So you can look up the CCAWR on YouTube on the Saturday and the Sunday. You can look us up on facebook.com/CCAWR. And we're going to be live streaming, right? And then the audiovisual company will switch the feed to whoever is presenting and performing. And we have a few recorded videos in there as well. And we'll have 4 hours of broadcast on the Saturday, 4 hours of broadcast on the Sunday. And on the Friday night, we're going to have a 2-hour radio show to kick things off. And then that content, the content on Saturday, the content on Sunday, that's 2 different shows, or two different types of content on those 2 days, will be rebroadcast during the month of February by our local TV.
Yeah. Okay. So that's and that's good. That's good. So I'm fastly running out of time. So lastly, somebody wants to become a volunteer. Somebody wants to become a member. Tell us how do you go about becoming part of this vibrant and exciting organization you guys are running here with the Caribbean Canadian Association of the Waterloo?
Well, I would start. Like the first thing you can do is find out more about us. So, again, sorry, it's the auditor mindset, right? Go on Mako and see what's out there. So our website is there, ccawr.ca. We have a revamped website. You can go take a look at our annual reports. You can see what we've been doing for the last couple of years. Click on scholarships, click on our events, and beautiful pictures there, very well captioned, and you can see what we're about. And if you're interested that you might be on the board as well, there's a menu there that talks about the board of directors, and it has our bios there as well. And we're a good looking bunch of people and very qualified. So, do your research and then reach out to us. So if you're on that web page, ccawr.ca, you click the button, send us an email. We will get that email and we will respond. If you're more of a Facebook person, facebook.com/CCAWR. We're also on Instagram and Twitter. But I would recommend the website. It's probably the quickest way. Or can I give them your email, Lannois?
Yeah,
Okay, so he has an email that he can share. And he's very good with his email.
Yeah, so you can reach me at president@ccawr.ca if you want to reach me directly. You can reach another member of the executive or secretary at info@ccawr.ca. And as Anandi said, if you go to the website, along the menu, you'll just see a menu option there for volunteer. But I encourage everyone who's interested or might be interested in working with us to check out the website, see what we're about. The annual reports are up on our website, see what we've been doing. And if you think that this is something you can get excited about and get behind and you want to contribute, your time and your energies, your resources, any age, it doesn't matter. We're looking to lift up the Caribbean community in this region and, of course, in the surrounding areas as well. And as I said at the start, we're building on a strong foundation. We have been in operation now for about 47 years, 47 years and counting. I'm going to use a Jamaican track and field analogy. We've taken the baton from our elders, and we are running hard to we're running the race hard to bring about positive outcomes for the Caribbean community. And we would love to partner with other persons who have ideas and energies and talents that they want to share with us.
Well, I want to thank. I know we crossed our time here in terms of the length of our program, but you guys have so much exciting stuff and exciting information. It was certainly a pleasure having you guys here, learning about the CCAR, CCAW, and it was really enlightening. And I hope the viewers out there, you take advantage of all this information. You reach out to them, and you try to connect with Lannois and Anandi. So, Lannois and Anandi, thank you very much for joining us today on the program and telling us about the Caribbean Canadian Association of the Waterloo region. Really appreciate you come taking the time and being on the program.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Well, viewers, that was the little bit of an interview we had with Lannois and Anandi, both executives on the Caribbean Canadian Association of the Waterloo region. You've heard about all the fantastic programs that they're having. So as Dave mentioned before, reach out to them. There's programs to be, if you want to be a volunteer, you want to be a member, or you just want to take part in some of what their programs they're offering, reach out to them and join them. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you on the next one.